Good evening, Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to our Saturday night Moonveil Mixer Eblan Elixir League match. My name is Alicel, and I am joined here by my good friend Leggy Starscream. How are you doing tonight, Leggy?
Great. I got my drink for the evening. Tap water. Tonight, we've got a wonderful race for you between BluesEclipse and the Bardic Panda. Bardic Panda is 3-1. Blues is 2-2 of the last-minute decisions, and Blue Moon do respectively.
And we do want to briefly bring up, originally we were slated for a twin cast, but we did have something come up with our other runners, and they are going to reschedule, but we are going to focus tonight on these two awesome runners. Just two fun people. I knew Blues is a little newer to the community, known more for the Phantasy Star 4 rando, whereas the Bardic Panda has a few tournaments under their belt.
Yeah, so this should be an actually really exciting race. I didn't go dive too deep into the flag set history for these two runners or their times or anything, but look at those objectives. You like the moon? Well, it doesn't love you today. Unless we have some buried key items up there, this may be a moonless seed.
Moon's scary, y'all.
Moon's haunted. And with the starting of Rosa, that solves one of the big questions of Free Enterprise, which is, where's my white mage?
Rosa is a huge, fun thing to find. Does, of course, get a little different with Hero, Sea Hero on, but Adamant Armors are on for this flag set, so Adamant Armors solve a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm. And especially early on, if you can get her a half-decent set of bows and arrows, she can be a fairly strong early game damage dealer, transitioning into a support role over time. You'll have plenty of room to start berserking up any melee fighters we find eventually, but the big question for right now, here in the start of the seed, is what is our starting stuff as we get ready to go? But if I'm these runners, I'm feeling really good about the start that we see on the screen right now.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to see a Sid to join this Rosa. I am a huge Sid fan. I think, especially early game, he is one of the things that makes me the coziest to take on those early checks.
Yeah. Other runners may favor something that's going to be really useful the late game, such as either of the boys who are enamored with her. You get the Cecil or Kane for that really strong late game potential, though again, their power is really dependent on their early items. Edge is also just, a early game powerhouse who we can find here, but looks like the timer is going and we'll see who's here momentarily.
Well, that looks like the Babysitters Club, and that is a King Queen Eblan there in the Baigan spot.
And hey, well, we can let Rosa smack people over the head with the Moonrock stick. Who's walking stick?
Yeah, probably want to find her some arrows to do that damage out there.
Still, a very good pickup for later in the game where you want her to be much more of a healer / lean more heavily on her casting. Looks like our runners are wasting no time diving directly into some areas for some early game loot. Blues opting to go into Castle Damsian, while Bardic Panda is going straight for the Watery Pass.
Would you like an 11th rune ring?
I mean, it's free money.
For those who might be a little more familiar with our previous flags, the Potion Party flags, these do start with the Dwarf Kit, which gives you 10 rune rings to start. You only need at most 5.
Mm-hmm.
But we find a Strength Ring in the back of Watery Pass. Right now, neither of our current characters can wear it, but a Strength Ring is a great item for any of our melee damage dealers.
Yeah, looks like Blue's finding the evilest of walls, taking a shower here. Did manage to pick up a couple of Star Veils and a couple of other little useful tchotchkes. Going to give us a check at the front of Mount Hobbs, which is, instead of Rydia learning the base fire spell, going to give her a random summon. Looks like it's Mage today.
But I've never heard of Mage, Leggy. Why don't you tell us where that came from?
So in the vanilla game, I forget exactly how you learn some of the weirder summons. There's also Imp and Cockatrice as well, but it is a random drop from the appropriate enemy. Thank you, God. But yeah, you can just randomly get it from fighting the appropriate enemies. We have repurposed those summon orbs for the ones that you can find in Free Enterprise proper, of course.
And we do see BluesEclipse making this dive down the Antlion Cave. This is a pretty standard dive. Well, the Bardic Panda is opting to get that hovercraft. These seeds tend to be pretty key item heavy, so hovercraft is definitely one of those things that you're probably going to end up having to get anyway, so one trip, always faster.
Yeah, not required, but even if you only use it to go take a peek at what's down at Castle Eblan, still a very useful pickup.
And looks like BluesEclipse getting ready to take on whatever is down here in Antlion Cave. Hasn't found anything that's sort of game-breaking yet, so probably hoping for something that can be taken out with these base-level characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bardic Panda hasn't found much either that's really going to shake things up. I mean, Twin Guards, we can probably work through these. 500 HP split between the two of them, only doing 1 damage because they're technically part mages.
Those rune rings coming in handy for that. And Chocobo probably doing the most damage you're ever going to see it do.
Bardic Panda gets to the top of the mountain, definitely does not find the character that they were looking for. That is a Tella, and that old man's gonna stay up there for a little bit.
I did not see who was guarding the old man. I just saw red.
Yeah, I think it might have been Baigan, but I will let chat tell me.
And it looks like BluesEclipse unfortunately having to take a reset there on those guards. Not having anything to really take on, do early game damage, and only finding, fire bombs, which do HP-based fire damage, does decide, okay, I'm going to leave this for a little bit.
Yeah, this party is lacking that little bit of oomph that's really going to carry them through the early game right now. Rydia does not have much in the way of magic, does not have enough MP to even cast the mage summon. Rosa has the ability to hit things, but the moment she gets hit by the size counter spell from the guards, suddenly that rune ring protection isn't doing nearly as much as you're wanting it to.
And BluesEclipse looks like wants to get one of those Lilith rods for Rydia. That'll be great once she starts learning some spells, or if we find any of those nice summons.
Go ahead.
Does find an old man in the bed.
Yeah, but honestly, I'm way more excited about those charm arrows.
And those vampires, that will get you through those guards pretty easily. Whereas the Bardic Panda does make it through those guards.
Yeah, first try. Going to give us our first peek at the pass. That moon is looking more and more haunted by the minute.
Yeah, that is a fantastic pickup to find. Even if we do have to walk down the moon, especially if you have one of your have Cocal Forge or have to come back down to the earth to do any of your objectives, the moon is about a 2.5 minute walk, and this is a race.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a Baigan.
Yep. Unfortunately, I saw correctly. But the good news is that Baigan's HP is a little broken up between the arms. They need to have a certain amount of HP as well. Over in the Fabula shop, we do see mute arrows for sale. We'll see what Bardic Panda picks up here as Blues is dealing with good old noodle arms.
And unfortunately, that Rydia getting knocked down, Rydia definitely wanting to get her some XP for any of those summons that she might learn, especially through the summon orbs. But we find one of my favorite items, camping gear.
Mm-hmm. Always great for a little bit of extra oomph when you're down in the depths of basically any dungeon.
And Bardic Panda is going to go ahead and take on Fabula Defense. I like this, especially not curing that piggy. You do get a full cure before and after Fabula Defense. And that's an Odin.
Ooh. I know we have the lit arrows, but I don't think either runner has found a bow to use on the Odin yet. So we're still deep in the camp of fire bombs and Rydia casting lit 1. Fortunately, this spot is still also fairly early on, so Odin's not going to have that much HP. But I do worry about how hard the Zensetsuken is going to hit. Especially with that slow only just going out.
And we see the raise on this Odin. And will this lit 1 do it?
Nope. We try and heal up. Looks like we've bought a little bit of time with the 2 slow casts. Not there yet. Here comes.
Ooh. And unfortunately, I don't think that Bardic Panda saved between all that shopping and doing Fabula Defense.
Yeah, the good news is, now that you've done the shopping once, it is a little bit faster to go back and do it the second time because you already know what you're looking for. As Blues has taken out the main body of Baigan, the arm is going to blow up directly for 7 damage. Oh man, the old man lives.
And if you are going to get an explode on anyone, the old man is the best character to get it because levels don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But GG's to BluesEclipse and gets a headband from the treasure chest there. One of those nice strength raising items that you could slap on that Rosa if you ever find a bow to go with all those arrows.
Indeed. We've seen 4 characters so far, including the one in the Kaipo bed. It'll be interesting to see what we find next. Blue's opting to continue moving forward rather than going back to deal with the guards. I don't hate that play if you aren't confident that you're going to get through all the status effects. Doing a little more shopping for a little more power as well.
And hopefully Blues goes back out to save. I did not see him save after that fight, and that was not the kind of thing you want to have to do twice.
Mm-hmm. Might be holding off until after shopping just for efficiency's sake, but might also be feeling a little bit behind already after the wiped out an Antlion cave.
Meanwhile, the Bardic Panda taking on this Odin again, throwing out those lit casts. Definitely the way to go. Rosa, please. You are in the middle slot. Please hit the boss.
Yeah. I do believe Bardic Panda opened up with the slow spells a lot sooner than last time, meaning that hopefully we have enough time to get enough extra DPS from Rosa whacking Odin, and maybe even an extra lit one, and it goes down! Bardic Panda is through.
And BluesEclipse, right about to start this Odin fight, does have that Tella, so has a little bit of extra lit 1 power.
Mm-hmm. Also, we're going to see Rydia casting Mage for no effect. Allie, do you want to tell the folks down back at home what the Mage summon does?
If I remember correctly, Mage does try to put Entangle on the enemy. Odin, of course, being a boss with the boss bit, cannot be entangled. But does have its uses on some of those enemies that you can entangle, your Dark Imps, your guards, some of those other enemies.
Yeah. And our reward, of course, for completing the Fabul defense is this weird box that has an address label in the Village of Mist. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure nothing bad will happen.
It's fine.
Yeah. You know, someone just needs us to help finish delivering the mail. And I get it. You know, the monster's increasing. You just got to make sure the package gets there, and you are, 2 to 3 very powerful adventurers. That's a monk. Interesting.
And that is a Porum trying to hold back a wall.
Oh no, I'm gonna feel sad now.
Look, she makes a wonderful, what do they call them, bookend?
Incendiary device?
Well, that too, but she makes a great bookend.
You know what? Fair. Oh, that would actually be... Oh my god.
Just
Did you feel the Bardic pulled?
A casual heroin robe out of a pot?
Yo! That is sick.
And we still haven't found a bow. There's a bow.
Okay. So, both of our runners have found separate pieces of the puzzle called Let Rosa Do Damage, just in time to find the edgiest of edges.
And that's a turtle.
Luckily, it's in the first slot, which has negligible hit points.
But Rosa now has arrows. Hopefully, BluesEclipse will also start opening up those chests in Baron, and will also find a heroine robe, and Rosa can now hit things.
Indeed. Either way, this kind of also cannot be long for this world, I have to imagine. Well, maybe slightly longer with dodging the staff hit.
Rosa, you are in the middle slot. Please hit the boss.
Well, lit ones carry the day. Let's see who's behind here. It is Dark Imps.
Dark Imps are Angie.
Yeah, so about that punching.
And we find a danger noodle there in Mist Cave. One of those bosses you're glad to not see anywhere you have to fight.
Yeah, well, we'll just leave the Nope Noodle alone and just not worry about it. I'm sure it's fine. Bardic coming around and giving us a peek at...
Oh wait, it was Leviathan.
Lesser Nope Noodle. I'm still very happy to see Leviathan in some place that isn't scary.
Yeah, those ice twos hurt if they're in a magic spot.
Yeah. Looks like Bardic is back, as BluesEclipse is here as well to pick up everyone's favorite Punch Mage.
This is actually a very understandable check. Both of our runners are kind of struggling to find any sort of power to boost them through this early overworld.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Tella and Rydia are not the helpers that we were hoping for this Rosa.
But the other nice thing about the early package is it is a cheeky look at what might be one of our 2 boss hunts.
Definitely. It's always fun when you find Golbez or the Fabul Gauntlet here. Fabul Gauntlet, of course, being a little more miserable.
Yeah, I always hate it when I get woken up by bad comedy, but when it's just, an absolute 5 different waves of people partying outside my door, honestly, I'll take someone coming in and doing prop comedy.
So you're basically just describing, oh, that's vanilla. You're describing like GDQ or any other gaming event in the hotel.
At least with the hotel, they have soundproofing. But yeah.
Looking at this we have seen 4 of our free bosses already.
I am just really hoping that moon is haunted at this point.
I think our runners might be too, because we have seen the Dark Imps, which are very punchy and angry. We've seen both sets of guards, and we have seen that King Queen Eblan in the starting spot.
Mm-hmm. Bardic actually making good use of the Mage Summon. Shoutouts to Mind Flayers. Wizards of the Coast don't sue me.
Brain was sucked out. But now the soldiers are very confused because they don't have somebody to tell them who exactly they're fighting. And Bardic Panda getting the full XP for this spot.
Love to see it. Especially with this particular party where you really need those levels to try and jumpstart what you're doing.
Now, this party is one of those parties that just really needs levels.
Yeah, I mean, if our runners can get that edge, we've got a couple of ninja swords in our back pocket, and edge conveniently comes pre-leveled.
Now, see, Neki is turned on, so our runners are not going to get that top tier gear. And he will probably start with something wonderful, like a poison claw.
Yeah, though you know that Blues had at least a longsword, sold a middle sword. Has 2 charm claws on the Yong, so I think there's some interesting things you can do with that equipment setup. But Blues is going to come back down here, going to give us another crack at these Baron guards.
Probably really hoping to find their path underground. Unfortunately, we know it's just a pass, but our runners are quickly running out of spots to find either a hook, a magma key, or something that leads to both.
Yeah, because we do still have on the we still have the Baron Inn on the table, and then it's just climbing a mountain. Unless Demist is hiding in, you know, one of the cheekier spots.
Sorry, I saw something cool right after I shoved a donut into my mouth. Let Rydia hit things. It looks like Rydia is the one wearing that that heroine robe.
Yeah, I actually really like that as like a way of dividing up duties, especially if you don't have that much in the way of Black Mage gear for Rydia. You can use her to hold your bow and shoot things while you use Rose for support. In particular, Blues was able to cast Mute on the Baron guards, meaning that he didn't have to deal with any of their counterattacks.
That is extremely heads up. Something we didn't see so much in the early part of the tournament because no free bosses is on, but does remember, hey, I can use status effects on free bosses again, and the Dark Imps are still very punchy.
Yeah, like I definitely, when I was sitting down to like transition over to these flags from the other flags, had those moments of like, oh god, how do I fight things again when I'm allowed to do the cheeky stuff?
I'm just like, wait, there's gear and chests again?
For me, it's more like, oh god, there's gear and chests again. The inventory boss is back.
But looks like Bardic Panda not wanting to have anything to do with those Dark Imps. We might be climbing a mountain.
Yeah. And I really like that push, especially with Blues. We'll see whether or not he's able to get through the Dark Imps here. But if he isn't, going up the mountain will unlock that Hella's full potential. Or something like that.
I mean, seems good.
Yeah, no, Tella's got a lot of really useful bits of utility in its back pocket that occasionally you don't see because Ordeals is 3 very long checks sometimes. Though it is 3 dice rolls at any of the 3 bosses on our hit list, the 2 listed and the Demist, which unlocks the key item from Rydia's mom back in the Town of Mist.
The Dark Imps have also forgotten who they need to hit, making good use of those charm arrows.
Yeah, and also incredible use of the stop spell from Rydia. But I don't think Bardic's going to need to worry about that anymore. That's a Sylph Summon.
I love a Sylph Summon.
Do you want to explain what the Sylph Summon does?
So the Sylph Summon being the summon you get in vanilla by seeing Yong hanging out in the underground and just hitting him on the head just a little bit. Does damage, but also uses that damage and divides it over your party to heal you. So it is a healing and a damage spell.
I was so ready to pop off for Blues if that was something incredible. My heart is breaking that is just samurai armor. Though the Edge is still an incredible pickup, do not get me wrong. Flame alone will probably be able to trivialize this Calcabreda fight we see. And what someone in chat called Thunderclaw Edge.
I guess if you're going to have an edge, Thunderclaw Edge is the way to go.
Yeah.
And that is a big doll. That big doll is very angry.
Which, given Bardic Panda's current party layout, getting to big doll doesn't surprise me. You don't have much in the way of AoE, and with the health disparity between the various dolls being something I doubt anyone in the community has fully memorized, it can be a little tricky unless you want to try and go in with various status effects.
And question from chat, which I had to check, is the Sylph glitch on? It is on, which means since Rydia is not in the center slot, every cast of Sylph is going to be free as long as you have the 25 MP to cast it.
Yeah, so it looks like both of our runners are converging here. We here in the booth know that this is very likely our path forward. There's still a few fringe cases where clearing through the boss fights here doesn't lead underground, but those are going to be very few and far between.
Are you perhaps referring to a demist in the Zot 1 check?
Yes. That's basically about it. Otherwise, either a demist in one of the 3 spots here, or the key item here on the mountain itself is our path underground.
I would kind of love a Baron key into the Tower of Zod into Harp to give us our way underground, but I also like to troll the players.
We do a little trolling, and Edge does do a little bit of flame, taking out all of the dancing dolls in one fell swoop, finding a mom bomb in the back attack spot. As Bardic Panda has once again called forth the big doll.
Okay, which is creepier, this version of the big doll or the 14 version of the big doll?
Yes. But also the 14 version of the big doll because it's moving in 3D.
That is fair. Question from chat, does the big doll have the boss bit? It does have the boss bit, so you cannot cast stop or any of those fun spells that you can cast on the back row of the Calcabreda doll, little dolls.
Yeah. Luckily, both of our runners are rocking the Sylph Summon at this point. Blues does have a non-trivial advantage just on the back of having a full complement of 5 characters, while Bardic Panda is still only rocking 3.
And this Mom Bomb does get the explode off. I am not surprised. Mom Bomb is rude and gets an extra 10,000 HP no matter where she is.
Yeah, like this party is, doing decent damage for the stage of the game, but we are not doing an extra 10,000 damage. Unlike, you fight Mom Bomb on the moon, you let your Crystal Sword Animate Cecil swing once or twice, and you chew through that extra 10k like it was nothing. Here, it's a little less direct of a path forward.
But it looks like BluesEclipse has this fight in the bag, even if these bombs explode, has 3 characters left, or has 5 characters. These bombs cannot take out his party, so he will be heading into the next boss fight.
He will be heading into the next boss fight, and since we are on the Sea Hero flag, it will just be Rosa versus whosoever is in there.
Who would you like to see in there?
Golbez.
Well, that's just, that's trolly. I love it.
Yeah, because one, obviously it would be required, which would be hilarious. Two, if we see Golbez here, we know that this is not our logical path underground. So that gives Blues exactly enough information to know that the Cheeky Demus play is in play. Gets the hook. Oh, maybe it's the other one.
I hope it's the other one. I didn't wish this into existence. I only hoped it in my head, so I don't want any of these runners to come for me.
For the other one.
This is the Alt Gauntlet chat. We're going to be here a while.
Yeah, so, welcome to the Eblan Elixir League, Moonveil Mixer Flags. If you've got a drink, now's a great time to refill it.
But for those who might not be super familiar, this is the Alt Gauntlet, and you are going to get 5 encounters that use, I believe it's encounters 4, 5, 6, and 7 of the encounter set in the area. So you're going to see some zombies, you're going to see some skeletons, you're going to see a Lilith. It's great. Now, this is one of, I believe, no, this might be the only way that you get experience in this spot. Rosa is so confused. I am so confused. I feel this, honey. I feel this. And Xenocat giving me info in chat, it is not always the same encounter sets. Sometimes it can be 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, or it can be 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But this is not great. This Lilith, yeah. This is, Gala, what did you do? BluesEclipse, going to go ahead and reset, unfortunately did not save. And Bardic Panda also getting the bad news that this is not what you want to see up here. But I know Bardic Panda found those vampires. Of course, the vampires aren't going to do us a whole lot of good on that Lilith, because I think she's undead.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leggy, this is a little, this is saucy. This is rude.
Yeah, like, you can give your Rosa all the offensive stuff you want, but... Yeah, I see chat mentioning maybe it's time to dive into Castle Eblan for, both the power from just the 3 trap chests, because that's our only access to gear that's higher than tier 6. But also for just the raw experience that those boxes offer.
Well, can't you find, can you find adamants in Eblan Castle?
Yes.
Because I feel like adamants solve most problems.
Oh, they do. They 100% do.
Let's see if Bardic Panda can get this firebomb off and take this Lilith out. Gets through.
Easy.
But here we go again. And we have the curse status. You want to talk about what curse does? Because I don't think any of us know.
I sure as heck don't. To the internet. I'm literally going to go look this up.
I believe it causes you to do the lowest amount possible for any attack.
Yeah, that definitely feels like a curse.
Oh, Simbu in chat letting us know it halves all accuracy. That's bad.
Yeah, according to the first wiki I found, it, quote, the target's attack and defense power will be reduced by half, which is not great. Either way, all around, a bad, very bad time.
But I am currently learning something about Lilith scripts. It looks like she will not cast Charm if she is the only enemy left.
Useful.
We're just going to reenact that scene from Final Fantasy VII with Scarlet and Tifa.
And we're through that fight. One more.
And we've just got some goals, some ghouls, some souls, and some revenants. This is not scary. Rosa is in the back row. They are not going to do a lot of damage. It's just, again, going to be slow.
Yeah. Luckily, the souls are the only things here that Tier can't just instantly take out. But it looks like Blues has the bow going for a fair bit more damage than Bardic's stave.
Now, Bardic has learned Berserk, so this is you just let Rosa hit things and go take a potty break, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
But Blue's coming back to this Lilith. Let's see if he is able to get through.
Big money, no whammies. Okay, let's see if your theory about Lilith casting Charm while the... Well, never mind.
How do you like it?
Yeah. Look, I get it. Everyone here in this booth is very charming.
I mean, we all are a bunch of cuties.
Yeah, I think this is the time to shout out Skull Kitty, our wonderful restreamer, and Scarcerer, our wonderful, wonderful tracker, who is hopefully enjoying the break right now.
Why are there so many Liliths in this fight set? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because I don't think there's this many Liliths in, like, the gauntlet spot in other places on the mountain.
And Xenocat, looking up the script for Liliths, Lilith script says that if you charm the Lilith, that's when she starts just spamming charm. That is fascinating.
Oh no. Bardic Panda's Rosa got, I believe that was paralyzed?
She's fine.
Yeah, got better. There's the curse coming out. But we're through. Is that the last one? I hope that's the last one.
I hope that's the last one.
No, that's the last one!
We have an objective on the board. We have gotten through. We have gotten a hook, which means we get to go fight more bosses to get underground.
Oh geez, Blues is... Rosa is just getting piled on. Oof. That was a lot of damage coming in.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay, throwing a Cure 2 pot. I definitely like that. Definitely like that. You were very dangerous.
Oh no.
Okay.
We're through.
It's over. It's all finally over.
And we all learned something new today, that there is soft lock potential in this alt gauntlet. This is great. I love it.
Yeah.
And Bardic Panda finding that heroine robe and probably goes, really? Really?
I was there the whole time? Or wait, was Bardic the one who picked that up initially?
Maybe, and then
When he wiped to the imps here, might have just reset out of it and wandered off elsewhere and is only just coming back for it.
that's very possible. Now, that heroine robe definitely going to help a little bit with those imps.
Both in terms of giving you the speed so that you have to deal with less volleys, more defense, so that, you know, when you take damage, you take less damage, so hopefully Rosa can stand there for a few rounds. And finally, and most importantly, Rosa's just hitting harder.
And Scarcer confirming that yes, it was the Bardic Panda that found the heroine robe because Blues found the elven bows. GG's to Scarcer for remembering more than 5 minutes in the past.
Backers, I wouldn't be able to do any sort of commentary without our wonderful tracking folks.
But BluesEclipse raising that hovercraft, and we're going to go see what is in Eblan Cave.
Mm-hmm.
Can we buy hourglasses on this flag set? I should know this.
Yes. All of your standard J-items that you're used to seeing in shops are back in shops now.
Because we could find some hourglasses here and maybe go find something very fancy like an adamant armor or a crystal sword for a Cecil we don't have.
Yeah. In addition to popping out to Castle Eblan, we do have the two Stalemen here in the cave, as well as the quad Mad Ogre chest in Upper Battle. But yeah, there's those hourglasses. You've got coffins for sale. We can find Bacchus wine. We can find sirens. We can find the whole gamut of good stuff.
And we are in sell everything.
Yeah. Blues stopping and just picking up a stack of coffins and a stack of hourglasses. Trying to pick up an extra strength ring, unfortunately about 6k too shy.
I have never seen mage used more in a fight or in a run than I have tonight, and I am loving it.
Right? Like, this is rare footage. Put this on your wall or something.
But looks like Blues does want to find that trap chest. Definitely a fun thing to find. I don't blame him one bit.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't find the aforementioned adamant armor, there are so many other nice things you could find. Some Hanzo steel for this edge. I don't know.
Adamant arrows, Artemis bow. You could find Stardust rod for Rydia. We did find a samurai bow, which is a really nice pickup for our various archers.
And unfortunately, losing that coffin and, excuse me, Stalemen are not coffinable,
Mm-hmm.
but we did get the hourglass off, so this fight is solved.
Yeah, the way that enemy magic resistance works can be a little finicky between the various status resistances and their magical defense in general. It is something sometimes you just kind of have to go through with trial and error. But for now, the Stalemen do count as giants, so the charm equipment will do massive amounts of damage to them.
And we are through, and I love a good silent staff. Silent staff, my favorite staff in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have the same amount of stats as the life staff, but I have hit things with it in a pinch and silenced non-boss bit enemies, like the guards. The guards don't like it when you hit them with the silent staff.
Yeah. In the meantime, you want to know what's better than one Sylph Orb here in the Eblan Cave? 2 Sylph Orbs.
The value.
I agree. We are going to get great value when we sell them to the next shop we go to.
And we can buy more hourglasses.
Mm-hmm. Or Bacchus wine. I'm really hoping How much does Dark Knight Cecil do at the Rubicon spot?
Not nearly as much as at the King Queen Eblan spot.
That's good news. Eddie, we love you. Not who we're looking for right now. Enjoy your time as BluesEclipse's first and foremost bench warmer. Though I might have taken those charm arrows.
I mean, but yeah, that Dark Knight Cecil is going to do some amount of damage, but it's not nearly as bad as it could be. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, this party is still not a lot of health on the table.
Yeah, but between the Tella and the Rosa, you might be able to just heal through the darkness waves.
And meanwhile, we have the Bardic Panda taking on these trap chests. I like this. We are trying to sneak some Bacchus wines here, and that's a good thing. Bacchus wines are good.
Yeah, sadly has not gone into the cave to find the hourglasses for sale, but Rydia's stop spell will work just as well.
It's just the budget hourglass too.
Yeah, we have hourglass at home.
It takes
the 6-year-old has it.
Yeah, it takes 3 times as long and doesn't last quite as long as you'd like to, but it does the job.
Exactly. But yeah, looks like it's all ogre all over. Look, I have to do it at least once.
But that Rosa is very, very, very angry, and we see life glitches coming out. So this is going to help with a little bit with our HP problem with some bonus levels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our runner is making great use of the life glitch, where when you cast life on any combatant, let's say, you bring them back to a health total that is a multiple of their vitality stat. Most monsters in the game are coded to have a 0 in their vitality stat, so when you use the life potion on them, they come back to life with 0 HP, and the game's like, wait, if you have 0 HP, you're dead. And dunks them back into the ground.
Even I know that 0 times anything is 0.
Dude, math on Twitch.
I usually leave that to you. You're the one who's good at it.
That is fair. Trust me, I'm a doctor.
And speaking of math on Twitch, Simbu doing some math for us. The max that this Dark Knight Cecil can do is 396. So with some levels on this Yang, can take out or can survive 3 hits.
Yeah, looks like Blues' Yang is 960-ish. So with a little bit of healing, Yang lives.
That's funny and horrible, and this is great. I love this.
Yeah, we do have enough rune rings going around that Cindy's melee attacks on one of our casters shouldn't do too much damage, but this is still a fair bit of damage for the team at this time, though it isn't just like the overwhelming Dark Imps hitting for, 5 times everyone's total health pool.
And so far, the Bardic Panda only finding a silver apple. I remember chemistry. But finds the Staleman and skeleton chest, so hopefully finds something a little better than 50 HP.
Yeah, which, again, when you're trying to survive, the DKC Dark Waves, 50 HP can break or break you. Especially when you're trying to get to, 1190-ish? If I'm doing the math quickly in my head for just being able to survive DKC outright.
And surviving DKC outright would just be the fastest way to get through. Now, that is a huge chunk of XP that you are giving up on all of your other characters.
Yeah.
But just find some sirens, it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Levels can always be made up. Especially once we're underground. But yeah, Blue's making very short work of the Mango Sisters. We'll see whether or not he feels confident just going directly into DKC, or if he's going to go back and save. I do not blame him either way, opting for the safer strategy given how long the Mega Sisters fight took.
Absolutely. I agree with this saving. Both of our runners kind of getting bit a little bit by going in a little bit too overconfident. So better to take the extra 25-30 seconds and not lose 3 or 4 minutes. And also turning that battle speed down, looking to get some of those cures off.
Mm-hmm. So, can I do the Darkest Dungeon announcer thing?
Absolutely.
Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
I haven't played the game in years. Well, I hear the new one just came out.
Yeah, some people love it. But we see Cure 2's coming out. This fight is finished for BluesEclipse, and he will be our first runner underground.
Yeah. managing to keep both the Edge and the Yong alive as we have the text boxes of Justice, and Bardic Panda finishes up the other monster in a box. That could be spicy.
Hey, it's that crystal sword for the Cecil we don't have.
Hey, you never know when the Cecil we don't have becomes Cecil right in front of you.
We are starting to get into some of those character checks that are gated. Cecil only being available in gated checks from this pitfall, from this flag set, and the Bardic Panda finding that third trap chest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, I think for this castle where Eblan played really pan out for Panda, he really needs to find either something incredible in this box or a Cecil to make use of the crystal sword that he pulled. When you're taking these sort of side dips into the boxes, you know, it is the time to benefit ratio that you're tossing around in the back of your head. You know, is opening all these boxes, fighting these extra encounters instead of just going straight down the hook route, going to give me the power to do other things more efficiently if my opponent decides to neglect doing this check.
Also, have you ever been hit so hard that you were both charmed and killed? But you were killed first and then you were charmed?
You know, I'm not sure I'm allowed to talk about that on this channel.
Also, we have a bonus crystal sword, and we see Blues heading into the Tower of Zot, or the Tower of... What tower is this?
It's the other tower.
The... Babel, thank you!
Yes, no, this is Lower Babel. There are 4 chests here that have monsters containing very good goodies. I actually did run the math on this. If you open 2 of the boxes, I think you have about a 50-50 shot of hitting something that's, you know, like tier 6 or 7. It is wild to think that Castle Eblan had 2 crystal swords. Bardic Panda getting the double tier 8, but missing the 2 and 3 roll to get either a dartable sword or an adamant armor.
Now, you can sell one of those crystal swords and buy lots of hourglasses.
True. And it looks like we're also going to get a peek at that ninja sword for sale, which I do not believe Blues even went into the weapon shop after being unable to buy things at the armor shop. So that's actually a really nice pickup.
And we find the lesser of the Hanzo steel in that Mazamune. But Rosa doing a lot of damage with those lit arrows, quickly taking out these monsters. Well, that's just insulting.
Oh, what was it?
It was a dwarf axe.
Oh. Come on, game.
We started with one of those.
Right? But in the meantime, the Bardic Panda has turned a lot of the loot into money into ninja swords. Hopefully going to make very short work of those Magus Sisters.
And we see the Flame Dog here. Unfortunately, Rosa really low rolling on that damage hit. I really hate Flame Dogs, by the way.
I mean, see, we're in Zot. There's the Flame Dog.
But gets through on the second hit, and that's...
You know, given our party, I am more happy about that than I am with the Crystal Sword.
It's just disrespectful, though.
Right?
But we have one more trap chest here in the Tower of Babel. Ooh, a mute knife. I love a good mute knife.
Mm-hmm. Surprisingly high stats for what you'd expect from a knife.
And if we find any of those outstanding mages, I don't know that we have any outstanding mages. But if we do...
Yeah, because Ruby doesn't count. Luge is like a robot thing.
And we've already fought the sisters and the Baron guards.
Ashura.
Oh yeah, Ashura. And Ashura in a bad spot can be quickly solved with a mute knife.
Yes. Thank goodness for that.
And here is the last alert while the Bardic Panda finishing up finding the rest of the loot here in the Eblan Cave.
Going to finally fill out the rest of his party with a bard. Oh, hey, that's the good one.
Good, in quotes.
Look, Edge can throw it.
Fair. That is fair. And we see a little bit of equipment changing. Now, Blues did not peek this on the way down, so this could be anything.
Yeah, we have not seen any lunar sparkles yet this seed.
Now, if you're going to find a wyvern, this is one of those spots you want to find a wyvern.
Mm-hmm. If this is a wyvern, what do you think the wyvern random spell is going to be? Doesn't matter, but still. What would you want that random spell off wyvern's opening salvo to be?
Slap.
You know what? Fair.
Or charm. But we see kind of doing a little bit of damage here from these dragons. Unfortunately, that flame is words HP based and not magic based, because this has one of the lowest magic powers in the game and definitely probably the lowest in the underground.
Yeah. Not to mention that the D-Lunars do have kind of a complex script. By default, they'll cycle through a couple of physicals, then a number of, then a flame, then a few more physicals before doing their big dragon breath effect. I forget what switches them over from that script to the reflecting viruses back at you.
You have to hit them with a physical attack that isn't your aim, your power, your... So our so Blues definitely doing the right thing of casting power with that Yang, aim with that Rosa,
and then flame with the edge. I also appreciate knowing that the D-Lunars' counter to summon spells is to heal themselves a little bit. And Blues noticed that, one, the Sylph spell is hitting for harder than they heal. Nice reflect.
Unfortunately, Starveil's coming out just a tiny bit too late, so only getting one of the D-Lunars frogged, but anything helps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Better them croaking than us.
And Simbo in chat pointing out, if we just hit that toad with fight, the other D-Lunar will do the work for us.
Because of the way the counter script works, they will they will try to cast the virus on their partner to bounce it back. Frogs can't cast magic. Little known fact, there's never been a magical frog. So the frog won't be able to put up the wall needed to bounce the virus off. Frog also won't be able to cast virus, but...
So I saw us throw a grimoire and get Bahamut, but it not go through.
The same.
Chat?
No idea.
But this fight is now much more controlled. And there is the second breath. We have another toad. We're fine. Everything is fine.
Oh yeah. No, it's just a matter of kicking back, bringing back the people you want to make sure that you get experience on, making Edge angry, and doing the one final shot on the frog.
Meanwhile, Bardic Panda coming up against the Magus sisters. And that is just another whiff from the top of tower.
Yeah. Dragoon bucket.
And Xenocat with the knowledge, grimoires do not work if you have a status that prevents magic like Piggy or Toad. So today we all learned.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see where Blues goes next. Hasn't really checked any of the other underground spots. So we've got the Feymarch freebie, we've got Sheila 1, we've got Dwarf Castle.
And depending on who's down there, we have the royalty of the Feymarch. Random fact. Randomness sometimes produces streaks of the same result multiple times in a row. This is normal and expected and is not the RNG being broken.
There is too much confusion from Rosa going on in this seed. But gets through and not gonna save before this Cecil. Just gonna go for it.
Yeah. I appreciate it that Blues pulling an Avenger, which is a great item. If we had someone who could hold it, does find sirens for sale down here in the Feymarch.
And decides that 3 Dwarf Axes is too many Dwarf Axes. Meanwhile, the Bardic Panda getting through the fight, young, holding on, learning all about justice, and just being like, yo, no. Yes, let's sell everything. Let's buy 90 sirens in a dream.
You know, I like the way you think.
Gets the sirens. Gonna go ahead and check some of these these armor and weapon shops. Yeah, I'll take all of those. Thank you.
Yeah, Cursed Ring, incredible. Lowers your character's stats all by 15 points, which means it is one of the single best pieces of equipment in the game.
I mean, if you put it with, say, a Dragoon Helm, you actually get health back.
Yeah, it also, yeah, I forget, is it like, are you like double stacking resistance and it turns into absorb, or is it like the curse string gives you absorb but not resistance, or how does that actually work out?
I like to think that it's like in Final Fantasy VI where it reverses cures, but it reverses status ailments.
Got it.
Or not status ailments, elements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the primary use we see people using the curse ring for, of course, is for agility manipulation. The way that the ATB system works in this game and the way that agility works, sometimes it's very useful to control the speed of your hero, both positively and negatively.
Especially when you get to Zeromus and you don't want a Rosa that is, let's say, like 32 agility. That's terrible. Zeromus is going to hit you real hard, real fast, and has no patience for anything.
Yeah. Fundamentally, the way this works is your hero or your center slot character, if you aren't playing with C Hero 1, their agility sets an upper threshold for how fast the other characters in the battle can go. And if everyone's above that threshold, everyone is moving as fast as possible, meaning that because you've got 4 really fast people and 1 really fast boss, you're still getting 4 actions to that boss's 1 hit.
Now, we didn't really mention, we have a Mylon variant here in the King spot and an Octomam in the Queen spot. Now, if you find a Moonveil, like we have in our flag set name, that Octomammoth is free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some really nice things you can do with that. Cecil cover can also be really impactful, even with just some illusions or blink spells, but Blues is coming down to Dwarf Castle, and I think we need to check their ventilation, because that's a cloud of mist.
Yeah, you don't want mist coming up in your basements. It causes mold, and that's not good for your breathing. So we better take this mist out.
Mm-hmm.
But why is this demist so interesting, Leggy?
So first of all, this demist is not very exciting for anything that's happening on stream right now. This is a very basic early game boss. Blues should have very little trouble taking it out. However, in this flag set, we do not have our free key item turned on. Edward in Troya, where he normally gives you the twin part in the vanilla game, doesn't give you anything. It lets you re-listen to the music later, which is great, but that's not a key item. Instead, we've moved that item onto Rydia's mom in the Town of Mist, if and only if you've defeated the Mist Dragon.
So not only is this going to be 2 boss checks, this is going to be 2 key item checks. So, and a character check. This could be that Cecil.
I think we can do you one better. What if it was 3 key item checks?
What if it was the Pan? Oh, is
Warp
the...
Glitch is still on.
I always forget about Warp Glitch.
Yeah. So not only will our runners be able to get whatever Sheila's wearing for jewelry today, with the Rydia's in tow, we'll be able to warp all the way over into the back of the sealed cave and grab whatever items there for free. This is a glitch present in the vanilla game. It is integral to several speedrun categories.
I really wish I had known about this glitch when I was a little girl, because I hated the sealed cave.
For good reason.
Child, you are too little, too late. Get out.
Yeah, like at this point, I don't think our runners stop for anything shy of a Cecil. Like, we've seen Husoi in the bed. If either runner pulls a Sandriby here, that Fu is a hard maybe.
I would definitely replace the Tella, especially if you have to go back there for any reason anyway. But yeah, I don't want another.
Yeah.
Rydia has gotten enough to get us through this early stuff. Now it's going to be basically the Edge show.
Yeah. Bardic Panda might be a little more inclined to replace the low-level Edward with either another character up to and including that Hallam we saw. But we'll have to see what he chooses once the Dragon of the Mists has fallen.
Why do we just let the hand take the item? I don't get this.
You know, your guess is as good as mine.
Well, it's a Artemis bow. It's a good item. Where are the key items in this seed?
There's one.
Not helpful game. Hilarious, but not helpful.
I believe the meme is now we can finally go underground. Fair.
But that is our third key item in this this seed so far. So other than, gosh, the Fey March and Sheila 1, we're hurting a little bit for progression.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what Miss Dragon has for us. I assume that's what Blues is doing, coming right up, checking that right away. Especially because if you start going down, checking some other things, setting a few other checks up, it's very easy to forget to fly up here and come back to Mist Cave.
I already forgot about Mist, so yeah. This could also be a check.
See what I mean? It is so easy to forget. And Blizz gets rewarded by not setting up Sheila.
No, Blues actually did set up Sheila, so...
Oh. Huh.
But hasn't checked Sheila 1, so...
Okay.
Still only a double dip of Fabul, but a double dip of Sealed Cave, too.
Mm-hmm. Still, I do appreciate... I always appreciate on a certain spiteful level seeds that decide to play ping pong, where my airship is the ball, and the two paddles are the underground and overground.
Oh, absolutely. And you try to put things off as long as possible because you're like, I don't want to see that transition more than I have to, and then you have to see it 5 times.
Right? At least with the moon, you don't have to worry about any extra key items to unlock things up there. You can just go and, yeah, well, speaking of, hey, I found our key item.
That seems important since I think we are out of key items, I guess, unless it is exactly a giant rabbit hole. I don't think we have enough key item spots left on the overworld to have a haunted moon.
I mean, we could have an absolutely cursed item chain with Golbez in the mix somewhere.
That's fair. That's fair. Because we've got 2 terminal key items. Well, if we have fine Golbez. This is why I don't do counting or math on stream.
Mm-hmm. Like, if we get, like, an Earth Crystal into the Bearing Key, into the Harp, and into Luca Key, and Golbez is somewhere along here.
Also, I really appreciate the exponential curve that we have of key items in the last 5 minutes.
Right.
But looks like Blues might be opting to open up the moon with that darkness crystal.
I don't hate this. At this point, like we said, unless it's one of those very low probability chains off of one of the Fey March, the odds of going to the moon feel very, very high at this stage of the game.
But could you imagine that Octomammoth to Earth Crystal to Harp to Rat Tail to Tower Key to Baron to the Adamant?
My birthday was Thursday. I really want this now. I hope Skull has given me a present for my belated birthday present.
You mean that old gauntlet wasn't enough of a present?
You know what? Fair. That was definitely a beautiful present. 10 out of 10, no notes. But I'm greedy. I want more.
Movies have taught me that greed is good.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, happy birthday to our wonderful Leggy.
Oh, shucks. What do our moon buddies have? They got carrots.
Seems on brand.
Mm-hmm. Nothing else really exciting.
But don't you want to buy another Sylph Summon for 30,000?
Does it let me... Like... If using an extra Sylph Summon let my Sylph Summons do double damage every single time, yes.
I have definitely put that in the feedback and meme channel. That's totally what it's called, by the way. I've totally put that in a few times now.
Yeah, no, I personally prefer... I forget exactly who coined it. Meme back in ideas?
That was probably Rivers or somebody. Oh, that's a Cecil.
What's up? It's your boy. Yeah, goodbye. Yeah, no, goodbye, Rydia. We do not need you anymore. We have a holy sword for the holy man and the Angie sword for the holy man.
We sold the holy sword for the holy man.
Oh,
no, we didn't.
There it is.
I think Blues also had that moment of, did I sell the holy sword?
Oh. But yeah, we've got Excal, we've got Avenger, we've got Cecil back row glitched. He is going to start absolutely tearing through the rest of the seed once we get a few levels on him.
I love the white shirt on the Cecil because we really want to make sure he stays alive.
Right. Like, we have samurai armor. No, we're giving him the long flowing white robe to go with the long flowing hair.
And Bardic Panda directly behind BluesEclipse also going to get that Cecil and does have the crystal sword.
Yeah. And like, don't get me wrong, the Excalibur is great. The crystal sword is still a bit of a cut above.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like much, but depending on when you get it, it can add minutes to your seed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over here trying to put my headcanon into everybody else's headcanon of Cecil, not just in a bathrobe, but those robes that the murderesses in rich soap operas wear.
Ah, yes. But, Cecil hasn't killed his husband yet, so it's a white one.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I want a picture of Cecil holding a martini and a little dog and answering the door.
Oh, it's
When
been
the cops come.
horrible. I don't know. I'm beside myself now. Ooh.
I believe, is this the Demarine?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is a slightly different dragon than what we expected, but this fight is free. Assuming your Starveil count holds. Rosa does not have access to wall yet, from the looks of it. Oh, and that clock is ticking fast. Bit of a miscast there, unfortunately.
But there's the Crystal Sword, there's the Mega Nuke. It's fine, Tella lived. He can bring everybody up.
And in the meantime, Edge is going to swing away Berserked, which will do a good bit of good for our team's timings here. Or I guess not, if we're going into darts.
And Bardic Panda immediately coming back to Earth. I'm willing to bet wanting to take on that Mylon Z, as he did check to see which of the sprites that was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with it being Mylon Z, that means Cecil can do a very good job of tanking it with a little bit of help from some blinks.
But this Bahamut being surprisingly rude.
Goes down. So we're going to see what's here, even if all of the experience points... well, I guess they also went on Rosa because she's our hero today. Oh god, I don't think you can reset out of that.
No, you can't. And does look like the Bardic Panda is going to go ahead and check these trap chests as well. We know it's just a lot of disappointment and an Excalibur. And a white shirt. I guess there's a white shirt in all of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not even the check at the top of the tower is going to be worth anything.
But looks like Blues is going to take on the bottom of the moon. And I like this check. It's got the highest key item density and a save point. And you might find your gold bez and wish you hadn't found your gold bez.
Yeah, even if you can't clear the spots up here, poking your nose in, seeing what's going on is still really useful. Oh boy, this is definitely a bit of a interesting one here. Let's see how hard that Fire 2 counters for. About 100 all around, but...
That tickles.
Yeah. Though, trying to keep that Cecil alive is going to become a bit of an issue.
Especially when Ruby does that.
I'd say that kind of forces the issue.
Now, Ruby here, instead of one more floor down, is preferred. Ruby in the Mazamune spot is not a good time by any stretch of the imagination.
Edge doing our, everyone's childhood strat of trying to cast Flood and mistiming it so that it hits while the robe is closed.
Now, there is a very cheeky strat here that you could do with that Edge. If you use Flame on him, Ruby shows you how and brings up your whole party.
Mm-hmm.
Ruby's not a bad guy. He's just doing the job he was paid for.
And, I am always going to be one who respects people who are just here for the paycheck.
I'm curious, though. What do you think the fiends get paid?
Room and board, probably.
That's fair. I'm sure the maintenance of keeping up the giant makes their rent astronomical.
Yeah. So, Ruby definitely has a bit of, a managerial vibe, given that... Or I guess Luke is kind of in, a different sub-department. You have the 4 fiends doing their thing, and then you have Golbez's science division headed by Luge. If I'm remembering my lore correctly. I don't know. Can someone draw me an org chart? But unfortunately for Blues, that's going to be a reset. The fight just kind of got away from him a little too quickly.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ruby, especially when you're reliant on physical fighters, those Fire 2s very quickly can get out of hand.
Speaking of things that get out of hand, especially one floor or lower. But at least this one's a bit more friendly to physical fighters.
And has significantly less health.
Yeah. The physical attacks are doing a fair bit here, but if you get a few berserks off, you'll start really eating into the pace at which the Ogopogo is able to fight you.
But looks like Bardic Panda has taken out all of the things that can be taken out on the way up, and gonna get his Dragoon Helm from these... What was this? The D-Lunars?
Yes.
D-Lunars are going to have a bit of a bad day with that Cecil.
Oh, yeah.
And BluesEclipse using Blink strats here to keep what characters you can alive.
Yeah, Blink is sneakily one of the most powerful spells in Final Fantasy IV, because it just lets you blank the next 2 physical hits without question.
Now, unfortunately, Rosa does go down, so Blues is going to take a reset here and might head to that Mazamune spot.
Yeah, Blues is definitely probably a little underleveled for trying to do a lot of these checks right now. Unfortunately, did not get the experience from the Bahamut check onto the Cecil, which would really be paying dividends right now. But I really appreciate the heads-up play of, I need key items, I need levels. I know a great place to get both of those.
You asked for this.
Is that it? I am very happy right now. We've got Golbez on the moon. probably the nastiest spot he could be. And I think Blues, unfortunately, is also out of life potions, because I don't think we've seen any for sale at any shops we've checked. We haven't seen a lot of item shop checks in general, so if Blues loses both his white mages, which luckily didn't happen, this might have been a fast reset.
I think we might also be... Yeah, we're going to have to see, because that Tella, not the dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how many Star Veils. Never mind.
Like I said, y'all, Moon is scary.
Yeah, but Blues has come down here, did get one clear and a lot of information.
Yeah, plus that rat tail. Who knows what it leads to? It could lead to, it could lead to a chain that makes Moon haunted, except for the rat tail.
Yeah, like, for all we know, that rat tail could be huge for Blues. If that's an objective that he's able to chain out, and Bardic Panda spends a lot of time clearing stuff on the overworld, etc. Who knows how this might wind up going, but hey, Mysidia's got your life pots.
And Bardic Panda obviously gearing up for these two physical fights down here. Looks like gonna try and do some Cecil cover strats.
Oh, interesting. Blue's not even stopping to check the rat tail. Says, no, I want to go back to the moon. Now that I've got my life potions, I feel confident going back in and checking some of those bosses that gave me issues earlier.
Or even the Murasame altar. We did not see what was in the Pale Dim spot, so quick check there. Although remembers, hey, I should probably save.
Yeah. Remember, abs, always be saving.
We totally even have an emote for it because we've all done it once.
Some of us have only done it once, and those are the best among us.
But that Octomammoth hitting a little hard there. And we're going to do some Asura strats. I love a good Asura strat.
Mm-hmm. That is the life one, bringing back the edge. But yeah, gets the soul webs off. Now it's just a matter of making the paladin very angry.
Unfortunately, that crystal sword not going to do the kind of damage you're hoping for, because rather than have separate elements, this Octomammoth just kind of is resistant to holy, so that dark damage could do more damage.
Mm-hmm. Still hits like a truck. Cecil is in a very good spot statistically, but you'll notice instead of doing the wild amounts of damage, doing about as much damage as the edge would.
And BluesEclipse finding Mylon and friends up here does get the information that, hey, was that a grimoire?
No, I think that was just straight up Rydia summoning for Bardic.
Oh, neat. Gets the information that is Mylon Z down in the Fey March, and having that holy sword on Cecil is great information.
Indeed. Plus, who knows what the reward for completing either of these fights is going to be. There's a lot of really important stuff still in the pool. We are still missing a twin harp, or an adamant rock, or an earth crystal, or a baron key.
Also, I just realized that complete the sealed cave is an objective, and that actually is very funny to me.
Oh yeah. The loot key was from one of the Sheila checks, I believe?
Sheila 2.
Yeah. So both of our runners have the ability to just go scratch that off whenever they want, but I don't blame them for putting it off until they've got around, they know where everything else is, because that's, just a long walk there and back again, no matter what. Octomammoth only giving some Artemis arrows, which, on the one hand, great set of arrows, love to see it, love doing maximum archer damage. On the other hand, I think Bardic here was really hoping for something a bit more.
And it's going to come up here and save. I agree with this 100%. Now, those Artemis arrows, if that Ogopogo... Is Ogopogo a dragon? Yes, Ogopogo's a dragon, right?
I have no idea.
Nothing that should be a certain thing in this game is what it should be.
That is definitely how it feels like 90% of the time.
Ogopogo is not a dragon.
I really hope for Blues' sake that life potion goes off on Cecil before the smile line goes down.
That would be... Yeah, that's the worst feeling.
Yeah, the real key right now here for Blues is getting any sort of experience onto Cecil. Oh my body, everyone's alive. That's going to be an absolute pile of experience. Let's see what Cecil Slingshot's up to.
30 seems good.
Yeah. Yeah, we take those.
We take those, too.
Winharp. Oh my god, that is huge. The moon could have been haunted, but now we know for sure the moon is hard required. You have to complete 6 out of the 7 objectives here, and with that twin harp and that gold that is down in the basement, those are 2 of the objectives on the table. You have to do at least one of them.
Now, if I have any choice, I am putting that Golbez as last. But Bardic Panda getting through this Mylon, let's see what he gets.
Yeah, because this could also just be an absolute game changer if it's an objective.
And it is.
Let Rosa have an even better weapon.
Supersmith is on for this, so we are going to get one of Rosa's Final Fantasy IV advanced weapons. I think it can be the Perseus bow, the Perseus arrows. You can't have both, and that makes me sad. I'm sure there's probably a bonk stick in there.
Additionally, this does open up the Kokol's Forge Shop, which does sell some... I forget the exact tiering of what can be for sale here. I just know that Zeus gauntlets can be found, and that can be incredible. There's just a lot of good value from being able to forge. Okay, chat is saying it's all tier 6 stuff.
If you can't have an adamant armor, a power shirt seems pretty good.
Yeah. We have adamant armors at home.
Also, I have to go back to a comment that Xenocat made a couple minutes ago about dragons and things. If you think it's a dragon unless it's a noodle or you can summon it. Pale Dim is not a noodle because it has arms.
And that's a Perseus bow. So sadly no bonk stick for Rosa today, though I do believe the Perseus bow will give her all of the fun magical stats that she wants. Yep, that's a will plus 15. Not even gonna bother slapping some arrows on there for now. Just going, let's go, let's get my caster stat up.
And BluesEclipse going ahead and coming back for round 2 on this Rubicant.
Yeah, it's nice when your Cecil is going into fights with literally double the amount of HP you tried to throw around last time. This Cecil has graduated into actual character status.
And Simbu, with the knowledge, you don't get buffs from bows if arrows are not equipped, so that Perseus bow is not doing anything.
Oh, that is interesting. And that's not something that comes up very often. So hopefully once we're done with shopping, Bardic Panda puts some arrows onto Rosa.
We do pick up 3 crystal rings. Crystal rings, one of my favorite rings in the game because, yeah, they block a lot of things. They give you 3 agility, and I just really like shiny things.
That is fair. That is fair. Yep, looks like the charm arrows are getting strapped on to Rosa immediately. So she is now officially getting that plus 15 well.
Also, apparently crystal rings give dragon resistance. Not that we know what a dragon is, but we get resistance from it. But we'll see where the Bardic Panda is going to head next. Meanwhile, BluesEclipse still working on this Rubicant. Unfortunately, both healers are down, and those Fire 2s are starting to get a little painful.
Yeah, that's getting a little out of control. But I don't know how much damage Blues has done, so nope, there's a glare. Gonna try and recover while Ruby has his cloak closed. We'll see how this works out. Does not manage to dodge the physical hit. Rosa throwing some life pots around.
We see the cloak open. This does give us a moment because Rubicon only does physical hits while his cloak is closed. If we had any fire bombs, this would actually be the best place to use them. Unfortunately, I think we sold them for chump change.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I think might be able to recover this as long as he doesn't attack.
Yeah, just keep it calm. Focus on getting the party back up off the ground. The 2-hit physical coming out here in a little bit is going to be a little rough, but we get through just fine. And now looks to be turning it back around onto the offensive side. That feels like a missed target.
Yeah, definitely probably not who you wanted to hit, but...
Yeah. Which, totally understandable if you're this deep into a race, you're nearly 2 hours into the race, you have no idea what your opponent's done. All you know is you've had some really rough time up here on the moon. Your hands are definitely getting a little sweaty. Misinputs happen. It is unfortunate, but you just have to keep trying to move forward.
And unfortunately, this looks like another wipe for BluesEclipse.
Yeah.
Ruby is probably one of those bosses that you don't necessarily want to berserk on because you want to control how much damage is coming out.
But at the same, it's a weird balance of damage control, because on the one hand, the way that the berserk works, it's going to eat up a few more enemy ticks so you're not going to have Ruby cycling through his main glare and physicals, but you are eating the fire 2s, so I wish I knew how to accurately do the calculus here about when exactly to go in and when exactly to just, like, try and hold back.
Now, with that ready, having Leviathan, that is a little more damage, although Cecil did go down immediately on Bardic Panda's side.
Yeah. Rubicante is very much out for our Cecils today.
And we see an Asura cast coming out. That is not the face you wanted to see.
And not at this point, at least. Yeah, looks like Blues has a few boys berserked up, but definitely taking a bit of a slower approach to it, trying to get as much healing out as possible after the last one. I do really like this.
Yeah, definitely throwing out those Cure 3s, not taking the time to get that Tella up, because at this stage he is not going to do an appreciable amount of healing. The Bardic Panda deciding to take a reset there. Might want to see who else is hiding here on the bottom of the moon.
Yeah, and of course the other big thing with keeping Tella down is that when you do your AoE heal spells, that healing is divided among the number of characters. So keeping Tella down means that more points of healing are going out to your 4 living characters. And it looks like Blues is doing a very good job of almost outpacing Rubicante's counters.
Unfortunately, we do see Yang go down, but Blues is going to go ahead and just say, I have to believe in the rest of this party. And yeah.
Yeah. Especially when Cecil.
Cecil, like, we're done. We are absolutely 100% done. Let's be done with this.
I just want to see what's in these boxes. And you know, that is actually a really good pickup for Blues right now, because he was just rocking the Excalibur. He now has the upgrade all the way up to the Crystal Sword. And of course, we have the Pigtail.
And do you know what that Pigtail does?
I do, but I would love to hear it from you.
Puts us at 10 key items.
True.
It also gives us like a tier 7 or 8 item, but you have to go down to the overworld for that, and I'd rather get the XP right now.
Yeah, like, when I'm done full clearing the moon, I'll definitely go and turn it in and get, something really, really nice and shiny. In this case, because adamants are on, it's just going to be the armor. It is straight up vanilla right now.
I forgot that adamants are on. Oh yeah, that's an adamant armor. I'm going downstairs for that. I ain't fighting this Golbez without that, but I'm also not in this tournament because I am better at talking than I am at getting murdered.
You know what? That's fair. I feel like most people are better at talking than getting murdered. At the very least, one of these two is way more fun than the other.
And that Ogopogo, just that with the disrespect. Now, I'm surprised neither of our runners have actually done any sort of a grind.
Yeah, like, It's always hard to know when and where to grind on this flag set, especially when you're this deep into it. But with these sirens that I think I know both of our runners seen, and I think most of our I think both of our runners picked up. I'm surprised they didn't just cash them out earlier.
Yeah, I know Blues bought 30 and Bardic bought 10, and neither one of them has used a single one.
Yeah, which I guess if you're like looking at these boss spots and going, yeah, no, these are what I want to take. But yeah, it's one of those where like, knowing where the grind spots are up here on the moon is a little bit tricky, if you aren't practiced in it. But I think both of our runners also bought hourglasses, so there is a very strong argument to go do King Ryu's, especially with the Tele there to cast Weak.
Oh yeah, I would definitely be casting as many or using as many sirens as I have hourglasses. I mean, even 3 goes a long way. Chat pointing out, BluesEclipse does not have any Star Veils. So, yeah, that Golbez is going to be real nasty.
Yeah. Over on the other side, Bardic Panda is back into the Conte fight. We'll see how this works out for him. We're still very often in the early stages, and Rydia's already gone down. Though, Cecil is angry and hitting for about 4k a swing.
Yeah, Rydia is going to be a hard one to keep alive, just with that low HP pool.
Mm-hmm. I think the Cecil there must have some kind of fire resistance because he's only taking 65 damage per Fire 2 cast from Ruby.
And BluesEclipse getting that Ogopogo down.
Going to find the whammy prize. And, you know, maybe this will be the reminder to get a few more levels before trying the Golbez again. Or maybe it's just, I've got a few more experience points from this fight. We're just gonna go try again because I know I need to kill this.
But Bardic Panda getting through that Rubicante with Cecil and Rydia alive, getting the rare text, and finding his Crystal Sword and Pigtail.
Mm-hmm. Also, opening the chest from the back, I definitely appreciate it.
You never know when the chest is a mimic.
Indeed. You know, you gotta be ready to backstab.
But Bardic Panda bringing his party back up, and did learn Cure 4, so we'll see where he wants to go next.
Yeah. Coming into this fight, turned the battle speed down to 4. We'll see how things are going to work out for Blues.
Now, Bardic Panda is going to have a lot easier time of this just by having those crystal rings. Crystal rings will block the entangle, so we'll have more time to try and get those Star Veils off, if he does have any Star Veils left.
Yeah, no, it is really interesting to me to see, like, you know, 2 runners approaching the seed from vastly different angles throughout the entire run. It's honestly just really impressive how different of both strategies and paths these runners have taken through what should honestly be a fairly linear progression through this space.
But we see there's that first virus, and there's
Bloodstreak.
and looks like casting exit, deciding, okay, I'm going to leave this Golbez for a little bit, might work out because that Golbez might not be required.
Yeah, if you can find the rest of your objectives elsewhere, you know, you've got that Twin Harp in your pocket, you've got that Luca key in your pocket. Those are 2 objectives on the table. Cave Manganese could hold something. You've got the Rat Tail to turn in, you've got the Pigtail to at least pick up the Adamant there. Like, you have options that might involve not killing this Golbez. So on the other side of the coin, you have Bardic Panda, who managed to get his Star Veil up on edge, and is letting Golbez actively chew through his health pool.
Yeah, this is definitely a spot that you do not want to take a spell here.
Yeah. No, this Golbez is going to hit like a truck. Luckily, that works in both directions.
And there is the why. Bardic Panda taking out this Golbez and getting his 3rd objective.
Blues, coming back down to the blue planet, checking shops real quick, does manage to find the Star Veils for sale. I'm not sure. That is definitely one of the Golbez drops of all time.
Yeah, it sure is. Adamant armors solve most problems, like a Golbez that is in the worst spot in the game that Golbez can be.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That is huge for Bardic Panda. You know, because the only thing better than 1 set of Adamant armor, which both of our owners already had access to, is the 2nd set of Adamant armor. That is going to make both Edge and Cecil for Bardic just absolute monsters.
And BluesEclipse turning in that Rat Tail, finding the Baron key. That is progression. We do need that for the seed.
Oh, that is huge. Bardic Panda has to go find that Bahamut at some point.
And I wonder if BluesEclipse is going to try and take out that Baron key chain before heading back to the moon.
I would not blame him. You know, you've had trouble, you've got it a few wipes up there. Might as well run out the objectives you know you have on lock in case you don't have to go back up there and deal with that Golbez again.
And looks like wants to get some levels. This is absolutely understandable. More HP, more damage definitely solves a lot of problems, although Edge doing Edge things.
Yeah. Luckily, the Cecil is able to take care of things before it gets to issues.
I've totally never wiped to a yellow dragon after not saving for a while.
Oh yeah, no, same. Like, it not only is the worst, but it also is the worst.
Yeah, I don't like dying to things that start as an egg. But that also does tell us, Golbez, we don't have to do them if we don't absolutely want to.
Mm-hmm.
So if Blues can find the path to the rest of the key items and objectives, yeah, just fade that Golbez. Nobody really wants to fight him.
Yeah. unfortunately has invested a lot of time in doing a lot of those moon checks. Obviously, Bardic has also invested a lot of time in a lot of these moon checks as well. But we'll see which one of our runners is able to run things all the way out first. If Blues is going to fade the Golbez, though, we know down here in the booth that he's going to have to go through I believe it is the Mylon Z down in the Feymarch. And so the question of when Blues goes down to do that is going to be a big part of this battle. And it looks like Bardic is taking that Twin Harp, exiting out. We'll see if this is just a save before going down to do... It's not even a save. He's just going right back in, trying to save a little bit of time on backtracking. As Blues decides to come down here and check the Luca key down here in the sealed cave. We know that there isn't any actual key item checks here because Demist is down, and we warp glitched into the item earlier, but it is an objective. It will be one off the table that Blues will have another check off on the scoreboard.
That is definitely something you want to take care of, especially if you hit your go mode, say, and you just want to go. You don't want to take the time to then have to make this long check. Just get that last objective and go fight Zeromus.
Yeah. But a lot of this is going to come down to where is that Earth Crystal? Because if Blues can chain out into the Earth Crystal quickly, there's a chance that he's able to make it, though Bardic Panda is doing a good job of getting his way back down through the moon over to the Bahamut that we know is at the Wyvern spot.
That does bring up, neither one of our runners have done the actual Bahamut cave. We don't even know what's there, but if it's something easy and it's holding our Earth Crystal, this could very quickly be a foot race.
Yeah. And a lot of that's going to just strictly depend on, order. Like, when do you go and check the Bahamut cave? If I'm Bardic Panda, I very much would probably try to make sure that I'm checking everything on the moon. I've already killed Golbez. There is nothing here that I feel scared about with that adamant armor.
Yeah, I think this and the Bahamut spot are the last two checks for Bardic Panda on the moon, so you're not going to have to come back with that pass.
Yeah. And if that's the Earth Crystal, this starts looking really, really dicey for Blues. Because, especially at this late of the game, I don't think there's any Blue Planet checks that will really hold back either runner at this point. Like, you saw how quick work Blues was able to make the Wyvern down here in the tower key, in the Luca key spot.
Yeah, that Crystal Sword Adamant Cecil, Crystal Sword Adamant Cecil is doing Crystal Sword Adamant Cecil things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with that Rat Tail leading to the Baron key, that is... Bardic Panda doesn't know it yet, but he's basically in go mode.
Yep, other than whatever this Bahamut spot is, I guess we just got to see, do you go into say or go into heal? So looks like might be going to take on whatever's in that spot.
Yeah. Blues going back up from the underground. going to run out that Baron key right away.
I definitely like this check. It's 2 key items. So, yeah, you've got 2 chances at that Tower of Zot. Unfortunately, Blues has not taken out Feymarch yet, so doesn't know that he has access to that Adamant Rock.
Yeah. So I guess my question for you is, here, what order do you do your checks in? Because obviously you're going until you find, you're doing both of them right now because you don't know where the Adamant Rock is, you don't know where the Earth Crystal is, and you need both of them.
I am probably going to do them in as much, group your checks as best you can. So do both your Feymarches together. I would have personally done Twin Harp first, just because Twin Harp into Zot is so nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as few screen transitions as you need to have is the way to go.
Yeah. I can just never remember whether or not it's faster to do the main Throne of Baron first or the basement throne first. Assuming I have enough power that I don't need to worry about the basement throne overwhelming me.
If I remember correctly, it's like seconds faster to do basement into upstairs throne, but you have to have perfect movement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I guess it saves you, like, going in the gates. Whereas here, you're still doing the same amount of backtracking, but you have to go through, like, the screen where you open up the gates to go back in after you've cleared the top throne.
Looks like BluesEclipse is going to go ahead and take on what's down here. You?
Yeah, like, your Cecil's hitting like a truck right now, so honestly, it's still not great, but you're as well equipped to take it on as possible.
Orbs can be a little nasty. The Globe 199s are going to do max damage here, so you better hope you take out this orb without that happening.
Yeah. Looks like just trying to just go in as best you can.
And unfortunately, this is a very fast spot, so those orbs are popping out almost immediately. Whereas the Bardic Panda finding Plague.
Plague of Bahamut is, relatively straightforward. It's actually a check you can do shockingly early on for being a moon check.
And I think based on the speeds, as long as everybody gets berserked in this spot, the count will never expire. So it's free adjacent.
Yeah. And like worst case, all you'd have to do is, just knock Rydia down and then try to revive her back up and do the standard count shuffling. But that fight did not last very long.
Yeah, unfortunately losing that Cecil, that did put it so that count never expired. Cecil had to sacrifice. But there is the Earth Crystal. That is go mode for...
Oh my god.
Well, it's no mode because Bardic Panda has not turned in that rat tail, but that is go mode for Bardic Panda.
Yeah. No, I think that... No, that's just go mode for Bardic Panda on paper because...
Oh, yeah. He doesn't even have to do Baron.
Yeah. That was definitely the worst possible outcome for Blues. Why is he just sitting there?
I don't know.
Huh.
Maybe he got called away or something. We are going to reach out and see what we can find out. The seed
Yeah.
has been going on for a long time, so maybe he had to run to the bathroom. I've totally never had to do that in the middle of
Yeah.
a fight.
Especially when, a run is... A seed is getting on, the 2-hour mark. Honestly, edging closer to the 2-hour 30 mark. It is rough. But on Bardic Panda side, going to turn in the Pigtail, get that adamant armor. Going to turn in the Rat Tail, get that Baron key. Now has access to 7 out of 7 objectives. Only still has to do 6 of them.
Now you have to ask yourself, what's faster, music or Baron?
And if I'm Bardic Panda, I'm tossing that up in my head, though with the Zot and music in my pocket and ready to go. I'm doing both of those before I think about anything else.
Yep, and we're heading to music. Music leads straight to Zot. And Zot unfortunately puts you back at Baron Castle, but it's a quick flight.
I mean, 1, 2, 3, and you're done.
Yeah, skip Sealed Cave.
Yeah.
And I forgot Sealed Cave. Unfortunately, Blues had to redo Sealed Cave due to having to step away, but quickly got through that Wyvern again, and probably going to head back to Baron.
There is a possibility, I can imagine, of Blues deciding to pivot and be like, no, I should go do Fey March while I'm down here. But I can also see the, no, I just need to get back to where I was as soon as possible mindset. Both of which are, just incredibly valid. But obviously we here in the booth know that going to Fey March will provide some advantage for Blues.
And meanwhile, the Bardic Panda giving us the check we've all been waiting for. We love the twin harp check here in Free Enterprise. This is going to be a random song done by Xenocat or Calm Lamity or Board himself that Edward is going to play for us. And we're going to let you listen to some music here in just a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gosh, we are getting incredibly up there. I think it's like, 300 songs down? Is it 400 yet? Either way, it's a lot.
But we here in the booth are going to be quiet for a couple of minutes. And that was some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And this is, oh, a sand ruby.
Anyone want a foo?
Gosh, I personally had forgotten Fu was even there.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just happy I remembered. But I do not think at this stage of the game, either of our runner, if and when they see that sand ruby, is going to take the time to pivot to go get food. That is a little bit out of the way at this time. If I'm Bardic Panda, I'm going straight up the Tower of Zot. I'm then marching straight into the Baron basement, and then I am marching straight back to Troya to get warped through the moon via my super secret club pass.
Did you get it from Ovaltine packets?
Don't give away my secrets. Also,
Yeah.
no, the kid gave it to me.
But Bardic Panda, not even stopping for chests. You have 2 adamant armors. You don't want to get greedy.
Yeah. With this return to items and chests, the temptation to loot, because there's always something magical around the corner. And if you find that flame dog chest, there's still good odds it could roll something really nice. But one of the really important things in Free Enterprise in general is knowing when enough is enough. Knowing when, okay, I no longer need to open boxes. I have all the power I need to beat Zeromus.
I really hate that flame dog chest.
God. So the very first time I played Final Fantasy IV, it was on the DS, the 3D version. And I got the Tower of Zot. And I found that flame dog. I don't want to talk about how many times I wiped to it, but I will say I never finished the Tower of Zot in that game.
I'm surprised you ever came to Free Enterprise after starting with the DS version.
In my defense, that was probably about 10 years before I even heard about Free Enterprise. So there was time to just let it go a little bit. And besides, I heard some, really beautiful people liked this game.
Now, don't get me wrong. I like the DS version. But it's certainly different from all the other versions.
Oh, yes. It's got a lot of really interesting stuff going on. But in the meantime, we've got a Water Hag and a Vanilla Volvalis.
Water Hag, 3 hits and you're done. Valvalis, yeah. Crystal Sword Cecil does not care.
Yeah. It's still basically 3 hits and you're done at this point of the game.
Dueling crumbles on either side. And that is a cane. No thank you. And that is a tower key.
Not worth it, but, at this point, we don't care about key items. We care about objectives.
And we see Bardic Panda heading in to Baron. Now, do you walk out without getting the key item?
The only key item here, if I'm Bardic Panda, that I would even remotely... The only key item here that if I am Bardic Panda, there is left on the table is a spoon. I just had a moment, looked at that tracker and went, wait. So, honestly, if I'm Bardic Panda, I go straight down to the basement throne, and when I get that crystal in my pocket, I get out of here as fast as I can.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, it is, 2.5 hours into a seed. Obviously, there was some rough stuff going on. But you don't know whether or not your opponent stumbled on some of the things you did or not. So, for all Bardic Panda knows is he and Blues are neck and neck right now. We, of course, in the booth know that Blues does have a fair bit to do to try and catch up, including going back, doing the Bahamut check for the Earth Crystal, and going down into the Feymarch for the Adamant Rock. But Bardic doesn't know that. All he knows is that the timer's still running. His opponent hasn't finished yet.
And you have to finish the seed to win.
Yeah.
But we're going to let you have a reprise of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What a good song. What a bang. I'll be quiet now. All right. So now that the song is over, does that mean our heroes are out of the half shell?
Half shell.
Full crystal.
Crystal.
Mm-hmm. It goes crunch.
And is shiny.
And is the final piece of the puzzle that Bardic Panda needs to finish this seed. Gonna go out through one final boss fight for good measure. But now that we've got a crystal, the heck do we do with it?
Well, we let it shine its light upon all of the earth.
So actually, fun fact I learned the other day, while watching a video essay about Final Fantasy 1. Allie, are you familiar with like the way that the maps of Final Fantasy 1 look on the NES?
Yes.
And how like the mountains are this really interesting white color?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently there's a lore reason behind that, because on CRT, going from the white to the black repeatedly caused a little bit of dithering, getting some blues and pinks and yellows in there. And according to the developers, that was supposed to be the mountains shimmering with crystal fragments.
Huh. That's actually really neat.
Yeah. You know, Final Fantasy lore, there's a lot of it.
I mean, yes, there is.
Right? But yeah, I do love FF1. What a good little game in general. But we're not playing FF1, we're playing FF4. We're playing FF4FE Enterprise. And while Bardic walks out of Baron Castle, I just want to give another shout out to Scala Kitty and Scarcerer, our restreamer and tracker respectively, for doing an amazing job at letting Hallie and I have this opportunity to just kick back and chat.
Absolutely. They are doing the real work, making the pictures pretty, keeping track of the key items and the objectives and where all the other items are. Tracking is hard, restreaming is hard. Comps can be pretty hard too, but if that is something you are interested in, join the Restream team. We are always looking for more volunteers.
Join us.
But
I promise we don't bite.
I make no promises.
Fair.
But I do believe that we are getting ready to ask some very important questions here.
Yeah, so how do I sign up for the Restream team? Where do I go for that?
Do we have a command for that?
I don't know, but...
If you join our Discord, we will point you in the right direction.
That link is in chat. In the meantime, though, Allie, do you want to ask the other question that's on everyone's mind?
Yes. Real quick, because Zeromus is too big, too bad, too scary to put in the Antlion Cave like I keep asking, we actually randomize his sprite rather than randomizing where he is. We have several hundred sprites at this point. So for tonight, whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
There goes the crystal. His true colors emerge. Ah, the ghost!
Moon was definitely not haunted tonight, but that is Boomus.
Yep. Everyone's favorite Mario ghost.
But this fight is going to be purely academic. We have so much power here.
Yeah, we have Adamant Armor Edge. We have Adamant Armor Crystal Sword Cecil. We have Silk Webs to slow Zeromus down a bunch and also nerf this outcoming Big Bang. Our heroes are not going to be taking very much damage here, and any damage they take we'll be able to heal off very quickly.
And even Edge, who had taken that counter nuke, was just like, nah. But the question is, will Asura do healing?
Well, 2 out of 3 times it works every time. That is not a great base. We got it.
Riddy is helping.
Yeah. In the meantime, we've got 3 boys, all Angie, all deep in the Bacchus. We got another shake coming from Boomis. That usually precedes unfortunate events, parentheses, Big Bang. Throwing out another Silk Web as our direct magic attack of choice. Allie, how does nerfing a Big Bang work?
If you hit Zeromus with a magic attack at a certain point during his script, he does a counter nuke. Well, he does a counter nuke every time, but he resets the spell power to do the nuke. Well, you don't want it too high to outright kill people with the nuke. And then it never gets reset back to what Big Bang's power is supposed to be, so it's about half of what it could be. But you have to do it at the right time.
Yeah, because I think it's like right around when that shake happens, Zeromus sets his magic power much higher to do the Big Bang. But, you know, when you've got your Angie boys hitting for nearly 5k a swing, not much is going to stand up to that for very long, and that includes this year's Zeromus.
But there's the Big Bang coming out. There's Asura coming out. Can we get 2 for 2?
Yeah,
No, because she's dead.
Yeah, that unfortunately was unnerfed. Bardic did not throw out any direct magical effects, but that's okay. Rydia did her job. The boys are back in town. They've got swords and monk cloth things. But yeah, this one's over. That's the party rocks. Boomis is giving off the celebration fireworks.
And it looks like with that, the Bardic Panda has finished in first place with an official time of 2 hours, 38 minutes, and 34 seconds.
We'll see whether or not Bardic Panda wants to come in for an interview. Bardic Panda, hello, welcome.
That was a seed. Hi.
So, how about that seed of all time?
I kept expecting for like the last half hour that I would lose at any moment. That was rough.
Why don't you kind of tell us, I guess, what your thought process was just with all of the nasty things that were thrown in your direction?
I don't even remember all of them at this point. My brain is trying to repress. I remember Golbez and getting really lucky because I found those crystal rings.
Yeah. I think the first part of this seed that really sticks out to me would be Mount Ordeals. And you're going up to the shrine after 2 relatively straightforward bosses.
And then needing to beat things up using the lunar staff.
Yeah.
I was just so happy when I got berserk halfway through the fights. And I hadn't seen a bow at all before that.
Yeah, I know that Blues pulled a bow out of a shop somewhere earlier, but had some rough going because all he had were charm arrows, and that ended badly.
It turns out that if you charm the Liliths, they just keep charming you back.
I did not know that. That's a lesson to learn.
I think we all learned that today.
Yeah, this was a very educational scene for all of us.
Like, now I know that the attack power from the monsters there is low enough that Rosa can survive it.
Indeed. But yeah, that being a required hook.
I think this is the first required hook I've played this so far.
Yeah, you didn't really see much. Well, actually, I think it was forced magma in the first half of the tournament, so that makes sense.
It was, yeah.
You think I know these things? I'm in this tournament.
It was a fairly easy hook, at least.
True.
Now, if those two had been reversed, you might have been a little.
Yeah, that could have been problematic. But DKC being there, if I needed to, I could have messed with my speed in order to try to get Eddie hiding or something, but Young had just enough hit points.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how did you feel about not one, but two crystal swords for a Cecil you didn't have out of that Eblan castle?
I hoped that I would find the Cecil soon. And figured the other one could be money.
Yeah, and I believe you turned one of them basically directly into a ninja sword. And, well, we found the Cecil eventually.
Yeah. Right where I hoped I'd find him, honestly.
But yeah.
It would have been great to find him earlier, but if I was going to find him, that would have been the best spot otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you and Blues were fairly neck and neck down into the hook route. I think the big place where you two really started diverging was when you both pulled the darkness crystal. Blues went straight to the moon and started trying to do boss checks up there, while you stayed down on the blue planet, tried to clean things up. You did the Fame Arch fights and got your forge out of the way. What was your thinking when you saw that darkness crystal?
I wanted the character, but I only had one free fight, and that free fight could still smack me pretty hard. So if it was in a really fast, punchy spot, it would still wipe me.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted a bit more levels before I went hunting for it. And even then, that fight was on the Barren Throne.
That's fair.
So I just wanted the experience. I wanted the key items. I had no key items. The moon is one of the best places to get experience from key items. But no, all the key items were on the moon. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the moon that kind of opened everything up, it seemed.
Yeah, it was very linear in where your progression was until you hit the moon. And then you just had to clear the moon fully.
Yeah, which is always one of those really rough things in, like, K-Main Summon Moon, where it's like, yeah, all of my objectives could be on the blue planet, I won't need to think about the moon at all, and then it's just like, oh, yeah, about that one.
But I was just really glad when I finally got all my key items and there was a clear path of, if you do this, it leads to this, which leads to this. And you can get all of them done really fast like that, you know?
Yeah.
The harp to tower to throne checks is a fairly clear path.
Yeah, I love that nice circle. That's it. It makes sense. But yeah. Any last minute thoughts on the seed, on the format, on the flags, on free enterprise in general?
I'm gonna have to look through this later and see how I could have done better in a lot of places, but I had fun like always, even with a rough seed like this. The hardest ones are the ones you can learn the most from sometimes.
Definitely, and this was by no means an easy seed. Congratulations again for, finishing in general.
Yeah, Noob Tree and Starman lucked out, missing us. It was supposed to be a double header for that, but a twin cast. But no, they lucked out missing it.
Well, we'll just have to find something but just as nasty for them. But yeah, well, thank you so much for letting us restream you, for putting on the show, and for the interview.
And thank you two for doing the commentary, and thanks to Scala for restreaming, and Scarcer for doing the tracking.
Awesome, and we hope to see you back soon.
I hope to as well.
And again, that was our first place finisher, the Bardic Panda. And meanwhile, we see BluesEclipse actually heading into his Zeromus fight.
Yeah. Looks like Blues cleared everything out, went through the Feymarch, found the Adamant Rock, did not go back up to Bahamut, just decided, you know what? I've done everything else I need to do. I'm just going to go back with the raw powered levels I've gained since the last time I was up here, hang out in Golbez, lickety-split, and just wander all the rest of the way back down to Zeromus.
But we see the Silk Whips, we see the counter nukes. Again, we have Crystal Sword Cecil, so... Oh
no. Alright, Fusoya is still alive.
We can do this.
It's a little scary, but, you know, this is still well within the range of doable. Cecil is still swinging for several thousand damage and attack. We've got Edge to dart, a whole bunch of high-end equipment.
Looks like there was the black hole, so that gives us a little more time to get another Cure 4 out. I think this might be a Neki Fu, so unfortunately not doing a ton of Cure power with these Cure 4s, but enough.
Yeah, because again, Zeromus doesn't really do a lot of damage outside of the counter nukes and the black holes. So as long as you can, sorry, not black hole, big bangs. So as long as you can get your party above that threshold where Big Bang becomes an issue, you don't necessarily need to top everyone off. Direct nuke going out on Yang. That is the single best target that could have gone into. That man is just a walking pile of hit points.
Yeah, I love a good chemist Yang. Him and Sid just make for great chemists because they can just take everything.
Oh yeah. The only thing I wish we had was like something like FF6 Runic ability where Yang could just stand there and be like, no, hit me! Or like Cecil's cover, but for magic.
Yeah, or even like a gosh, what am I thinking of? It's late, y'all.
Yeah.
The where you try to convince somebody to hit you. What is that ability called?
Taunt.
Taunt. But yeah, these boys are throwing out the damage now.
Yeah. This is... Fusoya had to burn through his mana pool a bit, but we're at the stage where the damage train is going.
And with that Rosa backup, Rosa has lots of MP. So here's that Cure 4.
Let Rosa cure things. And yeah, that Cure 4 is basically healing the party effectively completely from the Big Bang.
Unfortunately, Black Hole does come out, but I think we've got enough going.
There. Yeah. So, you'll notice time jumped a little bit. Blues took a minute after that nail biter of a Zeromus fight, after that absolute nightmare of a seed to hit the dot-done. So that is an official race spot time of 2 hours, 53 minutes, and 23 seconds.
And we'll see if we can't get Blues in for an interview. And with that, we are joined by BluesEclipse. GG's to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on surviving.
Surviving is probably the best way to describe that, yes.
That was a hell seed. How do you feel about, describe your thought process as you're going through?
Honestly, the first few checks were okay. It was not easy. I probably could have taken more time to find a bow somewhere to give me some better offense, but then I found the shop that sold vampires and Kaipo and figured, okay, I should be pretty good to go from here. And then I realized I was not finding any key item. And it just became, okay, getting through the overworld with, I think it was just the one key item at that point. I'm pretty sure the only overworld key item going into hook route was the hook itself.
There was also the package, but that was it for the first hour and a half of the seed.
Yeah, it was basically, this seed had very specific. I realized once I started doing underground, this seed had very specific ideas of what you were supposed to do. And it punished you hard if you did not do them.
Oh, yes. And those checks were, those weren't easy checks. I mean, Alt Gauntlet, we learned a lot about that Alt Gauntlet up on Ordeals.
Yeah, it's like, I had that same Alt Gauntlet on Ordeals last week when I raced. It's just in this case, I had Rosa going through it instead of Edward. And I still got caught by the charm loop on that second fight.
So, we did figure out it is because when the Lilith is charmed, she just continues to cast charm.
Yeah, and I remembered it after it happened and thought to myself, okay, is there any chance of actually breaking out of this? And I wasn't taking substantial damage there, so I figured wait a few turns, see if I actually get a chance to break out of that, if the charm wears off on the Lilith or anything like that. And it just never manifested, so after a bit I had to just reset out. Fortunately, I remember I did have the headband equipped on one of my other characters that gives the charm immunity.
Mm-hmm.
So, set that up, and then second time was much less painful.
Yeah, definitely. That second time went much quicker. But yeah, and then that moon.
That moon.
It's definitely one of the moons of all time.
Yeah. I think I have a new worst spot for Golbez to show up at.
You would.
Yeah, that is probably the worst spot for Golbez to show up at.
Yeah, because before I got that adamant armor, it did not matter who was surviving the demolish. I had no opportunity to throw up a Star Veil before he killed both remaining party members.
Yeah, no, that fight in that spot in particular is nasty unless you can get like some interesting agility shenanigans or a ribbon to block the demolish or
Yeah.
it is not fun.
Uh-huh. I am kicking myself for not checking Cave Bahamut before leaving the moon that first time, though.
Yeah, that Cave Bahamut, being something that, of course, never came up in Potion Party, is pretty easy to forget about.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, at that point, it was more just I figured, okay, it might be a worthwhile check, but I've got enough stuff on the planet that I could check at that point. And I was just expecting to bounce off of it like I was everything else on the moon at that point.
That's fair.
But yeah, since it is getting a little late, I'll ask you the same question I, of course, asked your opponent. Any last minute thoughts on the seed, on the tournament, on Free Enterprise in general?
Well, I'm loving the tournament. The last time I played Free Enterprise before this was actually back around when the World Series of Free Enterprise happened. I played in a couple of the events during that. Aside from that, I have not really been present between then and this tournament, and I'm very glad to have gotten back into it, very glad that I had people who decided to drag me back in for this tournament.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, you're part of the Phantasy Star 4 group, right?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Well, we're glad to have you back. It's always fun to have people who, from the olden days, come back, and yeah, we're just thrilled.
And like I said, I'm very glad to be here. I'm definitely glad that we've got so many people willing to set things like this up on such a consistent basis.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for letting us restream you.
Absolutely. I'm more than happy to be restreamed.
But with that, I think we'll let you go for the night, and we are probably going to start wrapping up.
All right.
So
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you again so much.
And so with that, our time here has come to an end. Do not worry though, more Free Enterprise is on its way. In addition to us going over to Free Enterprise 2 to go see the Y2 Sky versus Tri-Spy Slick race, we've got two incredible races lined up for tomorrow. Allie, do you want to talk about those?
Absolutely. We have a very early race, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, with John Burkhead from Brewdude Attitude versus Infinius from Balam Cricket Club, and then a late night race with V. Tafro from Brewdude Attitude versus Commander Leonhardt from Balam Cricket Club at 10 p.m. Eastern. So 2 races tomorrow. We got an early one for y'all. We got a late one for y'all. And both of those are going to be on Free Enterprise Prime.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh, go ahead.
Yeah. And with that, we're going to send you all on over to Free Enterprise 2, as previously mentioned. Do not spoil the results of this race, or we will put Golbez back at the Masamune altar.
Forever and ever and ever.
Especially in your seeds.
But with that, I have been Alicel, and I've been joined by the wonderful Leggy Starscream. Again, thank you so much for being here with me.
It is always a pleasure to be here in the booth with you. Thank you once again to Kitty on Restream and Scarcerer on the tracking. You two make the magic happen, so Allie and I can just have fun.
Thanks, y'all, so much, and have a great night.